second community forum. Naveed, do we have any speakers for the second community forum?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have 2 speakers.
Okay, we'll call them in order and give them 3 minutes each. Please proceed.
David Chesson, go ahead.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, and others. I'm an attorney practicing in the real estate field, and I represent a commercial landlord that owns and operates 2 large retail shopping centers in Vallejo that house approximately 51 business tenants. I'm appearing tonight to request that the City Council and the City Attorney review the city's restrictions on commercial evictions that remain in place. For a bit of history and context, as you'll likely recall, in 2020 and 2021, Governor Newsom issued a series of executive orders which permitted local municipalities to extend commercial eviction protections for tenants. On March 16th of 2020, the council declared a local emergency due to COVID for Resolution 20-26. That resolution in turn vested power in the Director of Emergency Services to implement orders to address the local emergency. By one such order dated March 17th, 2020, the Director of Emergency Services entered an order restricting both residential and commercial evictions. The order prohibited any, quote, eviction proceeding based upon the non-payment of rent arising out of a substantial decrease in business income, parens, including but not limited to a substantial decrease in business income caused by the restriction in opening hours or consumer demand, and parens. Unpertinent parts were removed of that quote. The order by its terms remains in effect until the proclamation of emergency by the City Council is terminated. Last year, the California legislature enacted several laws regulating residential evictions and providing further guidance for protections for residential evictions. And these largely preempted local ordinances, leaving it up to local municipalities to determine whether to grant additional protections. However, those laws did not impact commercial tenancies, and therefore local restrictions as to commercial evictions were not preempted and remained in place. So where do things stand now? Governor Newsom issued a series of orders which collectively permitted local municipalities to restrict commercial evictions through September 30th, 2021. The declaration of local emergency in Vallejo remains in place. It thereby follows that the order of the Director of Emergency Services also remains in place since its expiration is tied to the declaration of local emergency. One might wonder, are the local ordinances dependent on Governor Newsom's authorization, or do these ordinances continue to apply based on the inherent powers of the municipality? If you hold the belief that the municipality orders can continue to restrict evictions, you would be in good company. Just for example, the Board of Supervisors of Los Angeles continued to regularly meet and extend its commercial eviction restrictions every couple of months until January.
Thank you, Mr. Chazen, for those comments. I would invite you to contact our city attorney office tomorrow for her follow-up and discussion with you on this issue, and thereafter the city attorney can report further back to council if there's any further action that may or may not be needed. So we will move on to our second and final speaker for the community forum this evening.
Kathleen Dieheb.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I wanted to speak a little bit in wrapping up, having done 4 years on the Planning Commission, and realizing, this summer will be 5 years since you adopted the new general plan. The staff has prepared an update of the progress toward realizing the general plan. And honestly, we're not really making that much progress. There's been a lot of other things, a lot of polls. I would encourage you to ask your planning commission to dig into some of these things, to talk about what we should be doing, the planning. You also, city manager, talked about creating a strategic plan, looking at how you pull things together, because the reality is nobody can do everything. And I've heard Councilmember Dew express it well. In a family budget, you got to house and feed and clothe people first. And I think we need to focus on getting the right things done rather than trying to do a little bit of everything. I'd encourage you to finish the work on the housing strategy that was started in 2021. that shouldn't be dependent on any particular staff person. The other thing is that you will have to update the housing element this year. The STA is taking the lead on countywide. We really need to have some good community conversations and engage people locally. It's pretty nuanced. The exciting thing as we think about planning is there's a lot of resources coming down from the state to look at what can we do to create better communities, to house people, and to position ourselves well. The one thing the general plan didn't do was a comprehensive facilities plan. The EIR sort of brushed over the facilities needs because generally in a built-out city, we have most of our facilities. But we can't rely on new development to pay for redoing our old rotting infrastructure, our old facilities. We need a comprehensive plan for facilities, and we probably need a financing strategy, and we probably want to look at writing our impact fees, really recognizing building 1,000 new homes, 2,000 new homes in this town isn't the source to rebuild decades-old worn-out infrastructure. We need to look at other solutions. And the good news is other solutions are coming, but the way you compete for that money is a well-done plan and then a real clear CEQA document. And there's resources out there to do all that. And I just wanted to appreciate that your staff. Last year, at one point, this update on the general plan just came to the Planning Commission before they just took it to City Council. This time they're going to the Planning Commission. I'd like you to encourage the discussion to happen at that commission where they can dive in and have some real good conversations. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Diab, for your comments. We appreciate them greatly. That will conclude the second and last community forum.